We just got done watching episode 8 of The Last of Us. And may I say, this has been the best episode I think that we've got yet. The character development that it gave Ellie was incredible. The introduction of David and then like everything that we saw and like that story that they give those town folks of just like a small town following a priest. You kind of believe that the priest is not a evil maniac at first, but you definitely get some creepy vibes coming from like from him and everyone that's around him and the way that they look at him. It's not a look of admiration or a look at a leader. It's a look of being led by a little bit of fear, to be honest, which you can see later on in the episode after David backhands the little girl that's furious, you know what I mean? And then the mom, as he's saying, you know, you do have a father, and he takes his jacket off and sits at the table. The mom doesn't console her daughter. She gets up and gets him a plate. So it just shows you how just completely warped everyone's thought process was there, yo. And then to find out later that they're cannibals is legitimately insane. Like, this show has done such a fantastic job of establishing that this is much more than just some zombie apocalypse. Like, that's not what's happening here. This is a lot deeper than that. It's a lot more than just a zombie apocalypse happening. And it's showing the deprivation and the lengths that people will go to as human beings to survive or to help someone else survive or to get that hit that they need of whatever it is that works for them. You know what I mean? Like in the case of, I can't think of her name now, but you know, the woman that was leading the team, like they had just took over and she was just so hell-bent on revenge and nothing but revenge that, you know, she got consumed and ended up getting no doubt all of her people murdered. You know what I mean? All of them murdered. And now we're at this point to where we have seen the way that good leaders, bad leaders, and everyone leads. Like we've seen it differently. Like all we are seeing is different leaders. You know, when we go back to, I can't think of their names, but the couple, I can't think of their names. But before, like, we see how he leads and how him and his husband, how they lead their life together and it being just them two. Before that, we see how, can't think of her name either. I'm like drawing a blank on everyone's names right now. It's definitely my bad. But the woman that saves Ellie, that was also in the game. Can't think of her name for some reason. But we see how she was leading the Fireflies there. And then, like I said, we saw how Brett was leading his husband, and then we see how she led that town after they just won. And now we're seeing, well, and then last episode we saw how the lawyer ran her thing, and now we're seeing how this crazy psychopathic priest is leading his, you know, people. And each way they all led a different way, of course, and it's almost been like we're seeing the 7 deadly sins just in the form of the leaders of the show, of the different, you know, communities that we're being introduced to. But this was just it was just constructed so beautifully to see Ellie have to, like they said at the end, to see Ellie have to save herself and not relying on Joel. I don't know if anyone else was waiting for Joel to come in that whole time, but I was like waiting for Joel to come in and save the day, and he never did because Ellie had to save herself. And I think that was an amazing point that they gave us. And like I was saying at the beginning, I love when they change the point of views of everything. You know what I mean? We start this episode off seeing Ellie, how she interacts, and they weave that story together of where her and Joel had just came from right back into causing it being a story and an issue for her because of what Joel has done to protect her and to, you know what I mean? Like, it just, he protected her by doing something and now she has to protect him because he protected her. Like, that storytelling and the way it just wrapped back around, it's beautiful, you know, and especially after seeing the last episode of seeing more backstory with Ellie. Like, there was loss in both Joel and Ellie's lives, and it's different, and it's so beautiful to see the way that things interact, you know? Like, I really like it. So I loved this episode, and I can't wait to hear how you guys like this episode as well. Please let me know in the comment section below.
If you guys would like to support Mark Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.markbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the superfan. Or you can join our Patreon to get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch parties. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Excelsior.
On today's pop culture news update.
And on today's pop culture news update.
On today's pop culture news update,